Ladies and gentlemen, PC and console captains alike, welcome to the channel. My name is Phoenix, and I love to give my thoughts or my ramblings on the random task force operations that Star Trek Online came out with when Age of Discovery went live. My first initial reaction, feelings, or response to when they announced the random task force operations wasn't a very positive one. When I first heard the news about these, I was a little maybe confused, maybe a little hesitant, skeptic, call it what you will. I wasn't a very big fan of the random task force operations or what Cryptic was planning to do with them. I figured this is just another band-aid solution to maybe a problem that they could solve by removing the cooldowns from the task force operations. My thought on this was, if you removed the cooldowns from the task force operations, you'll have probably a lot more people playing some of the older queues that no one really plays anymore. And if Cryptic wanted to keep the 20-hour cooldown on the purple box for marks, that is fine. That's not an issue. It was the issue of you wanting players to actually play these missions, and when you force them to do it or get the marks quickly in a very short time span like some players do, that doesn't leave enough for the rest of us who play a little more casual, more leisurely. And with that being said, I was not seeing the full picture that Cryptic was looking at. With that being said, now that I have taken the time to join in some random task force operations for the week that it's been live, I will say this. Cold Stone's version, I like it. I think it's fabulous. I'm glad I was wrong. I'm glad that Cryptic had this bigger picture in mind that I didn't see, because I don't mind being wrong, especially when it's something that is this good. With that being said, let me talk about the less desirable aspects of the random task force. One, it's not so random in the fact that you kind of do some of the task force a little more repetitive than you do with some other ones. Say I do Starbase 1 4 times compared to one ISA. So there's that little bit of issue. The other one is you're not really able to choose whether you want to do strictly ground random task force or space random task force. And I can see the opposition saying, hey, the point of it being random is you have no real option other than just joining a queue and doing it. That's pretty much it. But some people would like to prefer to, say, in this case, limit their options with strictly going with only ground or with space. I would be the one who would prefer just space, but I don't mind the odd ground mission. And to be fair, I have done probably maybe 5 ground missions compared to the, say, 30 or so space missions. So you take it as you will. Now I'd like to move on to the more positive aspects of the random task force. I don't want to dwell on the less desirable aspects. So the random task force operations are, like previously said, is random. Hold your horses. I know you're probably getting a little upset with me now, but hold on. Let me explain. It's random in this aspect that you don't know what you're going to be doing until you're actually in the instance and doing that mission. That's what I mean by it is random in that way. So that aspect I love, because you never know what you're going to get, and that's the point of doing a random task force is, you don't know what you're going to do until you're doing it. The other thing is the people that I've generally played with the pugs, the pickup groups, they've been relatively pretty decent. I haven't had one where someone's bailed on us because they didn't want to do it. So that has been nice. The other thing is I haven't done all the task force. And during my live stream, I actually did a couple of ones that I've never done before. So that was very, very nice, and I like that. And I think that's the point of the random task force, is to get people to play task force that they haven't done in a while or ever. So kudos to them on that one. And finally, here I think is where the random task force operations is really shining for a lot of people, such as myself. So let's say, within an hour I can only do, say, 3 random task force. And let's just say, out of all the random task force that you can do, I got stuck with the 3 Borg ones where you infected space, Kittimer, and Cure. So, and they only give you maybe the option of just having 1 or maybe 2 marks. So by the time I'm done the 3rd, I've already collected all the marks for, say, Omega. Let's just say just only gives you Omega, and I collected the marks, and I get maybe about 200 or say 260 or something like that. That's all the marks I'm getting off that. Well, with doing those random task force, you get boxes. They're kind of like the R&D box, and you open them up, and as you can see on my screen now, I'm going to be opening up some here. The first one is the lower end one, and it's 70 marks. Okay, so that's fine. And so let's say I want to take those 70, I want to put it in, say, competitive. I open up the next one. Oh, now I have 84. Well, I'm going to put those into competitive. The other one I open up is 140. So again, I'm going to put that in competitive. I can do that. I have almost 500 marks out of 3 boxes. 500 marks in competitive. I don't have to worry about there being a cooldown on that. There's no cooldown. So if I were to go into another STF and I had the option of getting competitive marks, I do competitive marks, now I have like an extra 140 off that. So now I have, 640 marks in competitive in, say, like an hour and a half time span. On top of all that, with those boxes, not only do you get marks that you can choose from, you also get dilithium. As you can see, the first box is 700, the second box 840, and the next box is 1,400. So now I have almost 5,000 dilithium that, took me an hour to do, or not even an hour, right? So, and on top of that, the random task force, when you complete it, rewards you marks and dilithium. So you're now getting even more dilithium out of the whole thing. These random task force, for people such as me who are a casual player who doesn't really always get the time to play Star Trek Online, this is beneficial for us because it allows us to get the marks that we need and the dilithium that we need to get whatever things that we need to get. And for those that are a little more hardcore, they're going to benefit even more from this. So I don't see this as any sort of lose situation. This is a win-win situation for any kind of player in the Star Trek community, whether you're a casual or whether you're a hardcore player. I think this is this is something that benefits everyone within the community, and this is something that I am pleased to see. As I said, I am happy that I am completely wrong on what the random task force operation is, and I understand that they are still tweaking it some more, and I really do hope that they tweak it for a little more random task force operations, so I'm not doing Starbase 4 out of 6 times kind of deal. But I still do believe that I think they should get rid of cooldowns altogether just for the missions themselves. The cooldowns for, like the 20-hour cooldown on the marks, I can live with that because you're still going to get marks regardless because of these random task force operations. And with that, that will conclude today's video. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. Do you like the random task force operations? Do you hate them? Is there something that you would prefer to be changed that I did not mention? Let me know your answers and any questions you have down in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching. Live long and prosper, and we'll see you out there.